Okay, so let's get right into the topic of our discussion today. The topic is understanding classroom dynamics. And we are going to talk about this in the context of stop disciplining and start managing. Okay, because now that we have this kind of students inside our classroom, more and more students are having more and more teachers are having a tough time disciplining students, getting the students to do what the teachers wants them to do. The teachers want them to do. And so, we will have to discuss paano natin mapapagawa ang mga bata ng gusto nating gawin nila without us ever having to resort to shouting, screaming, and yelling. So this is all about classroom management. But to be able to do that effectively, we need to understand classroom dynamics. I'd like to ask first our 95 participants now in here inside the Zoom room. All of you are teachers. All of you have been teaching. I have spent 30 plus years inside the classroom, classrooms of grade 4 kids, all the way to fourth year college and even MA students. Please type in the chat box. Did you have training in classroom management before you started teaching? Yes or no? Okay. Did you have training in classroom management? Okay. I'm seeing many yeses. Great. Okay. Fantastic. So people are putting in yes. I've not seen a single no so far. So that means your schools must have prepared you well enough. We have one who said no. Okay. Another one, si Ma'am Audrey, si Ma'am Janver. Okay. Bago kayo nag-umpisang magturo, tinuruan ba kayo ng classroom management? Great. So we see a number of no's. We see a big number of yes. Fantastic. Today, we're going to talk about classroom management. Why? Because this is all about being a successful teacher. Okay? This is all about being successful in teaching. It's about being able to create a safe, positive, and engaging learning environment. That's classroom management. It's not just about keeping the students quiet. Okay? But it also has got to do with improving student behavior and academic performance. That's classroom management. I want to ask, now there are 103 of us inside the Zoom room, is anyone in the Zoom room non-Tagalog speaker? If you do not understand Tagalog, please type in the chat box, English only, please. If you do not understand Tagalog. But if you understand Tagalog, no need to type anything in the chat box. I want to know because what I see is in the more than 100,000 teachers that have attended my seminars in these last 10 years, pag ako'y nagtatagalog, because we all think in Tagalog most of the time, I get more connected. Fantastic. Walang nagsulat ng English only, please. So that means I am allowed to shift from English to Tagalog every now and then so that we understand ourselves, so that we get to connect better. Okay? Here's the other reason why kailangan nating pag-aralan ang classroom management. Kung bakit natin bigyan ng pansin ang ating kakayanan to manage a class, not just to discipline a class. Sabi ng research, sabi ng research, many times, the number one factor kung bakit daw maraming teachers quit teaching, umaalis sa pagkaguro, umaalis ng classroom, naghahanap ng ibang trabaho. Sabi ng research, it is because of failure in classroom management. Marami raw teachers leave the profession pag sila ay kinain ng mga estudyante ng buong buo. Alam niyo yung expression na yon, nilamon ng mga estudyante ng buong buo. There are some teachers who unfortunately go through an experience like that. They lose control of the class. Then they hate the class. They hate teaching. They hate the classroom. They hate the profession. Sabi ng research, yun daw ang number one reason why some teachers abandon the teaching profession when they fail in classroom management. So, effectively, be a good classroom manager and you will be a successful teacher. Fail in classroom management, chances are you will have a hard time being a good teacher. Now, I don't want to scare you, pero sabi ng research, here are the 5 common problems na meron tayo sa loob ng classroom. Yung mga estudyante natin, here are the 5 common things we see among our students. Number 1, sabi ng research, ang mga kabataan daw ngayon are very distracted and they lack focus. Do you agree? Is that the kind of students you see inside the classroom today? Agree or disagree? Distracted daw. Kulang daw sa focus. They have a hard time paying attention, sabi ng research. Especially because of smartphones, digital gadgets, devices being omnipresent. Okay, sabi nila, agree. Yan. So, maraming nagsabi, they agree. They say this. The students daw today are very distracted and they lack focus. Kasi nga naman, para bang while inside the classroom, mararamdaman nila yung cellphone nila, may notification. Uy, somebody liked your post. Somebody shared your post. Somebody hearted your new TikTok video. They get very distracted and they lack focus. That's according to research. Because especially of social media and digital lifestyles. Here's another one. Sabi ng research, the young people today have lower attention spans. Lower. In fact, sabi ng research, kids today have an attention span that is 1 second lower than that of a goldfish. I don't know how they measure the attention of the goldfish. I don't know how scientific it is, but that's what they say in research. The kids today have an attention span that is even lower than that of a goldfish. Why? Kasi napaka-fast-paced ng mundo, no? The digital media, the audiovisual, yung what they are subjected to, what they see. Hindi pwedeng 1 hour video. Papatayin nila yan or they will scroll. Kailangan TikTok 30 seconders lang. Kailangan yung reels na in 10 seconds, you have to catch their attention, otherwise they will scroll. Next video. Attention span is affected. They are not able to focus too long in anything. And this makes it more challenging than ever for you and me as teachers. Tapos magbibigay ka ng lecture sa loob ng classroom, kagaya ngayon, 1 hour and 30 minutes, makikinig tayo ng lecture dito. Ay, ang hirap. In fact, this decreased attention span does not only involve kids, pati tayo, apektado na rin nito. We too have lower attention span compared to how we were or we had attention span in the past. Fast pace. Dapat lahat mabilisan. Here's the third. For those who just joined us, we are talking here about mga common problems that we face inside the classroom today among our students. Okay? So, number one kanina, distracted generation. Kulang sa focus. Number two, the attention span is lower. Now, number three, ang kultura, mindset, attitude ng mga kabataan ngayon is i-google ko yan mamaya, i-chat GPT ko yan mamaya, ika-cut and paste ko sa Wikipedia yan mamaya. Parang ganun yung mindset. Para bang there's nothing wrong for them with plagiarism, with cut and pasting, with asking chat GPT to answer their test, their exam, their homework, their assignment, their reports. Now, here's what we need to say. And those of you who may have attended some of my past seminars, you've heard me say this. Teachers, hindi kasalanan ng mga bata na pinanganak sila at this time and age na meron ng chat GPT. Okay? It's not their fault. The chat GPT, Google, Wikipedia are all available for them. They just happen to be born and grow up at this time and age when technology makes it very easy for anyone to access information. The challenge, therefore, is now in you and me. Tayo ngayon ang kailangang mag-isip, what assignment can I give the student na hindi nila pwedeng i-chat GPT? Na hindi nila pwedeng i-cut and paste lang? That's a challenge for us now. Okay? Please, it is not lack of discipline on the part of the students if they use technology, gadgets, internet to make their work easier. That's part of productivity. And I think you and I would have used ChatGPT and AI and Wikipedia. We would have used it too when we were kids, when we were younger, when we were grade 5 students, if it was available already for us. Pero it's a challenge because it is becoming a mindset, an attitude, a behavior, an outlook sa mga kabataan ngayon. Bakit ako magpapakahirap? Nandito naman, isang tanong ko lang yan sa ChatGPT, ibibigay niya sa akin yung answer. That is the mindset that we are confronted with right now inside the classroom. Okay, what else? Number 4, sabi ng research, social and emotional issues. Yung mga estudyante pumapasok ng classroom natin, pumapasok sila with a very complicated background, complicated issues, complicated problems. And yes, I'm talking of all young people today. I'm not just talking of the rich. I'm not just talking of the middle class, but even people from lower economic background. They come inside our classroom and ang daming complication. Sabi nga ng Facebook, it's complicated. Yan. Social and emotional issues. They're dealing with this. You are aware of the fact that teen depression is at an all-time high. Bakit ang daming mga teenagers na de-depressed? And hindi lang yun. Teen suicide is also at an all-time high. So our students, many of them come inside our classroom and they have very many issues that they're grappling with. Issues with relationship, issues with their boyfriend, girlfriend, issues with their parents, family, issues with money, issues with self-esteem. Yeah, that's the kind of students we have inside our classroom. And then here's another one. Tech-related disruptions. Ang daling sabihin, ano? Okay, let's shift to online. because of the heat index. Masyadong mainit. Let's continue our classes online. Teka muna, not everyone has the same kind of Wi-Fi that you have, that you enjoy in your house. It's a reality. There are some students, pag uwi nila sa bahay, Wi-Fi connection is an issue. Walang air condition sa bahay nila. So, itong heat index, parang nilipat lang natin yung problema sa bahay nila. Imbis na, okay, nakatipid sila ng biyahe and they don't have to um, survive the heat during travel time. But teka muna, let us not discount the reality na meron pa ring problema, meron pa ring issues related to technology and gadgets and Wi-Fi. So all these affect our students. Kaya hindi natin pwedeng sabihin, we will just transfer to online classes now because we will call off face-to-face. And then you expect the same discipline, behavior, management? Ay, hindi. Magkaiba yun. In other words, these are concerns and we have to be aware of them and we have to factor them in. We cannot expect the students to be like robots. They will not just do what we want them to do if we don't know how to manage them. Not discipline them, but manage them. So that's the concept of the whole 4 seminar series that we have today, tomorrow, and then Monday, Tuesday next week. It's all about how to stop disciplining and start managing. We have to learn how to manage the class because there is no reason that is valid for us to resort to shouting, screaming, yelling. Wala. Kahit sabihin mo, Mr. Antoy, kung kilala mo lang ang estudyante namin ngayon sa eskwelahan ko, mga matigas ang ulo, mga pasaway, if you only know them, you will not talk about no shouting, no screaming, no yelling. No, I know them. I have been a teacher myself for more than 30 years. And there are ways of being able to manage the students so that we don't have to shout, scream, and yell, and much less, here's a very important thing, to hurt or to harm them physically or with our words. We have no right to hurt or harm our students physically or with words. Maybe at the back of your mind, some of you are thinking, ay, kung alam lang ni Mr. Antoy, yung mga klaseng bata ngayon, I know, I have an idea. I have not stopped managing students because I continue being a moderator of student councils of schools from all over the country. And I deal with teenagers and I know what I'm talking about. We can manage them without ever having to resort to hurting, harming with physically or with words, and shouting, screaming, and yelling. Management is different from discipline. We have to differentiate that. We have to differentiate the two. Better yet, we should know how to manage. And when it comes to disciplining, we have to know how to do it effectively. But I repeat, shouting, screaming, yelling is not disciplining. I've met teachers who have that very wrong idea, wrong concept. Ang kala nila, the harsher their words, the more disciplined John will become. The more violent yung kanilang ipapakitang emotion inside the classroom, the more behaved Joey will be. Hindi. It will not happen that way. So that's what we are going to talk about precisely. Stop disciplining, start managing. In fact, this is principle of Dr. Harry K. Wong. You don't need discipline if you know how to manage. Let's differentiate. Managing is getting people to do what you want them to do by making them simply follow procedures, not rules, but procedures. Managing is simply making them do what you expect them to do. If you know how to manage, you will not need discipline. For example, sa airlines, stewardesses do not discipline, they manage. Why? Why do we say they manage? Because remember, bago mag-take off ang eroplano, ano ang ginagawa ng mga stewardesses? They remind the passengers about the procedures. Procedures, not rules. What are the procedures? Kahit anong eroplano ang sakyan mo, pare-pareho ang procedures before takeoff. Open the window shade, straighten up your seat, close the table in front of you, fasten the seatbelt. Those are procedures, what you want the students to do, what you want people to do. They are not rules. Rules, on the other hand, are like you should not close the window. You should not. The rules are like, I dare you to break my rules. But management of procedures, on the other hand, is simply making them do what you told them you expect them to do, what you expect them to follow. That the seat is straightened up, that the seat belt is fastened, that the table is closed, that the window shade is open. That's managing. Now, when after reminding the passengers tungkol sa mga procedures, what they are expected to do, what do the stewardesses do? They manage. So they go around, simply making sure the passengers follow the procedures. They don't discipline, they manage. Pag nakita nila may mga passenger na hindi naka-seatbelt, they don't get mad, they don't shout, they don't scream, they don't yell, they don't insult. They simply say, "Ma'am, sir, the seatbelt please." You see, yun lang ang dalawang sasabihin nila. They call the person ma'am or sir, and then they tell the person exactly what they want him or her to do. The seatbelt please. Sir, the seat please. Sir, the table please, we're taking off. Sir, the window they simply say those two things. They call the person ma'am or sir, and then they tell the person exactly what they want them to do. That's management. That's not discipline. If they're disciplining, then this is what they will do, like what some teachers do. They discipline, they don't manage. What will the stewardesses do? Pag nakita nilang hindi sumunod ng procedures, "Ma'am, ilang beses ka ba dapat sabihan? Hindi mo ba nadidig ang announcement? Hindi ka ba nakikinig?" Di ba? Ganun magdisiplina minsan ang teacher. That's disciplining. Stop doing that. All you have to do is say, "John, stop talking, please." Call the person and tell him exactly what you want him to do. Better yet, I have to teach you strategies on how to make John keep quiet without you even having to say anything, without you ever having to shout or scream or yell, and simply making John follow the procedure. That's what we are here in this session for. Waiters manage a restaurant, they don't discipline. Pharmacists manage a drugstore, they don't discipline. Nakita niyo yung nag-viral na video sa Cebu, yung customer nagpipilit na bigyan siya nung yung gusto niyang bilhing gamot, pero yung pharmacist ayaw kasi kailangan ng reseta. If the pharmacist, the drugstore attendant is disciplining, abay sinigawan niya na dapat yung customer. Hindi ka ba nakakaintindi? Sinabi ko sa yung bawal kami magtinda. That's disciplining. No, the guy simply told, "Sorry ma'am, pero we have to follow yung protocol. We have to follow the yung requirement, which is kailangan niya ng reseta. So that's managing. That's not disciplining. And that's what brings about the different kinds of teachers. Merong mga teacher who resort to shouting, screaming, yelling, terror teacher, authoritarian, dictator. Merong what we call walang pakialam, indifferent. Meron namang mga teachers na ang galing. They can make the students do what they want them to do. They are what we call authoritative teachers. Yan. Tapos meron namang tinatawag din nating permissive teachers. Yan. Alam niyo yung permissive teachers, yung parang trying so hard to be liked by the students. Gusto niyong kumain, class? Kain kayo dyan. Basta just make sure hindi kayo makita ng principal pag dumaan siya. You want to transfer seats? Go ahead, go ahead. Parang they try very hard to be liked by the students. Those are the different approaches to managing a class, to disciplining a class, and they produce different kinds of students. You want to know kung anong mangyayari? I'm sure marami sa inyo tinapos na yung Queen of Tears, hagulgul ka sa kakaiyak sa last 2 episodes. There is a very nice K-drama. It's called Sky Castle. Ang galing, napakagaling. Yung kwento ng mga magulang who are obsessed about getting their kids to get into a medical school or into the top schools in Korea. Sky Castle. Ay, napakagaling. Doon mo makikita yung different kinds of parenting. Nandun yung permissive parents, nandun yung authoritarian, dictator, terror parents, nandun yung authoritative, nandun yung indifferent, yung parang walang pakialam. And then, the results, kung anong klaseng anak meron sila. You apply the same thing. Kung anong klaseng estudyante meron ka, many times will depend on the kind of management style you have. If you're permissive, authoritarian, authoritative, or indifferent. So, advertisement lang ng K-drama. If you want to know how it, of course, maraming exaggerated dun sa K-drama na yon, but it becomes very clear. It gives you a clear idea kung ano ang mangyayari if you are a permissive teacher, an authoritarian teacher, an authoritative, or an indifferent teacher. Our main source for many ideas in this series of 4 seminars, ito, the best book on classroom management. If there is only one book na bibilin mo about classroom management, this is it. The book of Dr. Harry and Rosemary Wong, The First Days of School, How to Be an Effective Teacher. And then if you can even get hold of a copy of his 6-hour lecture on how to be a super successful teacher by Harry K. Wong, that's the best resource to really learning how to manage a class. Unfortunately, he passed away, I think, January of this year. And he was here. I brought him to the Philippines in 2013. I think that was 2013. He spoke to 7,000 teachers in SMX. Okay, so then, classroom management. Let's analyze. Kasi ang pinag-uusapan natin today para sa ating session is yung classroom dynamics. Let's analyze what brings about the kind of behavior the students show, the students have inside the classroom. May mga factors affecting their behavior. Unang-una, physical environment, the layout, the lighting, temperature, access to resources, all of them can impact, can affect behavior inside the classroom. Here's my suggestion. Yung estudyante ninyo, nasa loob ng classroom ninyo from 7:30 in the morning or 8 in the morning, all the way to 3:30, 4 o'clock. That's a long time. Tapos may lunch break lang, ano? Then minsan may recess. But for the rest of the time, I don't know, 7 hours? Nakaupo sila dyan sa upuan na yan, sa loob ng classroom. Subukan mo. Do you know how it feels? Is it comfortable? Is it easy to listen, to pay attention? Or nakakaantok? Or nakakasilaw? Kasi walang kurtina. Tapos nandito yung morning sa... Try it. It matters. Many times we may overlook it. That's why it's important. One of the things I think will come out in the series is, uy, pakinggan natin ang mga bata. Pakinggan din natin sila. Bakit sila ganyan? Bakit sila hyper? Bakit sila parang patay? Bakit sila antukin? You may not realize it, but it may have a lot to do with the lighting, with the layout, with the temperature, with the... So, we look at those things because they do matter. According to research, here are the top qualities of an ideal classroom for maximally effective discipline and management. Number 1, structured layout. O nga naman, baka naman kasi may mga estudyante nawawala sa peripheral vision mo because of the layout. Pwede silang magtago dun sa likod. Hindi mo napapansin yung nandun sa likod or nasa isang side kasi the layout blocks your view from seeing. So, that's very important. Clearly defined areas also for different activities. You want them to do paired discussion? There should be a layout that will allow them to move around, to get a partner, to stay in a place, one corner where they can easily do paired discussion. You want them to do groups of five, form yourselves into groups of 5. Okay, pero is it easy for the 5 to go from one place? They matter. Here's another one, accessible resources. Dapat madaling makuha nila kung anong kailangan nila. Naputulan ng lapis, abay kailangan madali sila makapunta sa sharpener. And in the first place, there should be sharpener. Kailangan nilang humiram ng papel. There are some teachers who are like this, ano? Galit na galit pagka ang estudyante, halimbawa, hihingi ng papel sa classmate, ganyan. But did you make it very clear? Was it part of your procedure from the first day of school? Kaya yun yung title ng libro ni Harry Wong. Teaching procedures to the kids in the first days of school. So, nasa procedure nyo ba na kailangan pag pumasok kayo ng classroom ko, kompleto kayo ng 1/4, ng 1/2, ng 1/2? What is it? Kailangan ballpen o pencil? What is it? Did you make all those clear? And it's not rules, really. It's just how you want them to do things, that they have all those materials, that they have access to those resources, that the shelves in the classroom are labeled properly. They know exactly where to put their bags. They know exactly where to get the worksheets that you want them to work on, etc. Here's a third, sabi ng research, that will contribute to the learning environment, the physical learning environment being effective. Visual supports, such as posters, charts, instructional displays that reinforce classroom procedures or classroom rules. Rules are for discipline, procedures are for management of class. So there should still be rules. We will get into that a little later on. Expectations, academic concepts, they're all available there. Sorry, pero I am going against the principle announced by DepEd regarding removing all decorations, removing everything because they are a distraction. If they are right, if they are done right, they are not a distraction. They are supports, visual supports, visual aids, helping learning to happen and assisting the teachers in managing the class better. I mentioned this already earlier. Try it. Try sitting down in the chairs used by your students. Are they comfortable? You expect them to stay put, di ba? Minsan ganyan yung teachers. Sit up straight. Stop talking. Eyes here on the board. Hands on the desk. Look here. Stop looking out. Teka muna. But did you try checking if really the students will be able to sit down in that same seat in the next 3 hours, in the next 4 hours, or if it's a whole day class, in the next 7 hours, only with breaks in between. Clear expectations. That is a very important thing too. If we are to make sure that the setup of the classroom helps in managing the class, engaging learning materials. Especially so because, sabi natin kanina, yung mga estudyante natin ngayon, they have lower attention span. They are distracted generation. They have a hard time focusing. The challenge is greater now for us teachers to get the students engaged. Pero kung yung material natin na gagamitin is not in the first place engaging, then we will have even a harder time. And then, this is very important, and I want to emphasize this because, come to think of it, lahat ng kailangang matutunan ng mga bata, lahat ng academics, math, science, English, history, social studies, lahat yan nasa internet na, nasa YouTube na, nasa Google, nasa Wikipedia. Everything they practically need to learn can be accessed in the internet. And therefore, what's the point of going to the classroom? Some of them have that mindset, by the way. Why do I need to go to school? I can learn everything that the teacher lectured about in the internet. It's a waste of time. Believe me, there are students who already have that mindset that going to school is a waste of time because they can even learn more when they read. Watch a documentary in YouTube that is very exciting, very colorful, visually enticing, presented in a dramatic way, yung history of the Philippines, and in chunks, in 30-second chunks available in TikTok. Therefore, if we make the students come inside our classroom and we just ask them to sit down and listen to us, teacher-centered, don't be surprised if they start feeling sleepy, lazy, and bored. And that's what many kids complain about. School is boring because it's teacher-centered, because it's textbook-centered, which is 10 times less exciting than what they can watch in YouTube and internet. We've got to get the students engaged in learning by making our classes and even the environment student-centered with a welcoming atmosphere that they are not afraid. Hindi sila takot pumasok ng eskwelahan. I want to repeat what I said earlier. Mali ang konsepto ng ibang teachers na the harsher their words, the louder they scream, the angrier they show themselves to be, the more disciplined the students will be. Hindi, it doesn't happen that way. It used to happen that way. Discipline used to happen that way. May pinapaluhod ng munggo, may pinapaluhod sa asin, may pinapalo, and yes, it used to work. I have to remind ourselves, we have to remind ourselves, it doesn't work that way anymore with this generation of kids, with this generation of young people. They will just be full of resentments. And worse, they are going to look for a way to get back at the teacher. Our classroom has to be a welcoming, kind, and caring place. That's what we have to work and work hard on. And that's what we do when we manage the class. We don't discipline, we don't terrorize, we discipline. I mean, we manage. We cannot resort to shouting, screaming, yelling, and terrorizing the young people. Mr. Antoy, kung alam mo lang ang behavior ng mga kabataan ngayon, alam ko, when I saw that viral video of the public school teacher who went live in TikTok and social media, lambasting the children, the students, and saying things like, wala kayong patutunguhan, that's exactly how we should not manage our class. And you think with that, the students, all the students there are now more disciplined, more motivated, more eager to succeed in life? No, they are not. In fact, maybe they were celebrating in the humiliation that followed after that. Of course, there are many people, nandun ako sa Facebook page no, ng DepEd Tambayan with 780,000 teachers there in that Facebook page, and so many people defending that teacher and even lambasting and condemning the kids today. That is very sad. And that we cannot agree with. I'm sorry, but that is not managing. That is humiliating, hurting, harming with words, which by itself can never be seen in an effective teacher. We have to put in fact, safety measures that the students feel safe to be inside our classroom. Dahil napakarami na nilang pinagdadaanan, abay hindi natin pwedeng gawing torture chamber ang classroom. Already as it is very challenging for many of them to go inside the classroom. Why? Because it's more exciting to learn online. It's more exciting to access the interesting materials that are available for free in YouTube, in all sorts of websites. So then, we have to look into that. And then we also need to look into paano tayo nagtuturo, because that too affects the behavior of the students. The way we teach, the different activities we make them do, the lesson, how we plan the lesson, even the pacing, in order to catch the attention of the students and in order to make them participate. Sabi ko kanina, di ba, because of the presence of ChatGPT, Wikipedia, Google, internet, it's now more challenging for us. Don't ever give them an assignment that they can easily download, that they can easily cut and paste, that they can easily just access in the internet. Make them analyze, make them evaluate, make them produce, make them perform, make them set up an exhibit. But there are so many other things that you can do other than write an essay on, write a report on. All of those can be easily produced by ChatGPT at the click of the button. Google producing so many articles in one search. The instructional practices that we use inside the classroom definitely affect the behavior of the students, the classroom behavior. We mentioned already the social, emotional factors, the relationships, the dynamics of how we get the students to care for each other, to help each other, to support each other. Kung naka-attend kayo ng ibang seminars ko on creating a kind and caring classroom, for example, or the seminar I have on how to prevent bullying. Abay, ang daming strategies I give there on how to make sure the students support each other by looking for all these strategies of buddy system, class buddy system. Buddy system is one student is paired with another. Class buddy system is an older class being paired with a younger class, and they bond, and the younger kids look up to the older ones as people they can run to if they need help, they need support, even tutorials, even advice on how to deal with a teacher or that other problem, that other difficult subject, because how the students feel, their social, emotional state are also factors that affect their behavior inside the classroom. Number 4, external influences. Sabi ng research and from experience, you and I now have more and more students sa loob ng classroom natin who come from broken families or dysfunctional families. Dysfunctional kasi wala yung nanay, nasa abroad, wala yung tatay, iniwan sila ng pamilya. We have more and more students like that. And they come inside their classroom with a bigger questions in life, not about your subject, not about math, science, English, social studies. They have bigger questions in their mind, and then they come inside their classroom. That will have a bearing on their behavior. So, we have to look into anong gagawin natin. We have to make sure our classroom is welcoming, especially to students who are like that, who are grappling with many issues in life. Here are different types of student behaviors. There is the engaged behavior or engaged students. Teachers, by the way, a quiet class does not necessarily mean it's a disciplined class. I repeat, a quiet class does not necessarily mean it's a disciplined class. It may actually be a bored class. They just cannot wait to get out of your classroom. There is a good noise, the noise of learning, where students exchange ideas, where students are able to express their opinion. They analyze, they evaluate, they synthesize, they give proposals, they present. That's noise, and that's a good noise. When students are reciting, when students are engaged, they are focused, they're participating, and it shows eagerness to learn. Some teachers think that their only objective is to keep the class quiet. Di ba ganun yung lesson planning, objective of the day, to keep the class quiet. That is not an objective. That is not a goal. The goal is to make the students learn, be engaged, participate, create, produce, demonstrate that they are learning. And that can be noisy. But it's a noise. It's a noise of productivity. It's a noise of learn. What we need to do is to make sure we know how to manage the class. Okay, class, get a partner, discuss. Okay? Di ba? Magandang exercise yon. Get a partner and share with each other your answer to this question. And then they start discussing, right? Now, if you are an ineffective teacher, how do you make them stop talking because time's up, you want to announce something? An ineffective teacher will have to shout, will have to scream, keep quiet, stop talking, I will now announce something, stop, enough. That's an ineffective teacher. But an effective teacher who is a good classroom manager, tinuruan niya ang class niya. Okay, class, if I ask you to discuss and then time is up and I want you to stop talking, here's the procedure. You see, you're going to teach them a procedure. Here's the procedure. I will stand in the middle of the classroom and I will calmly raise my hand. Class, the procedure is if you see the teacher with his hand raised like that, it means stop talking. Tell others around you to stop talking and point to the teacher because he is going to announce something. Dr. Harry Wong gave that strategy of salami, tap and look at me. Here's the procedure, class, and you teach it in the first days of the school year. Here's the procedure, class. If I want your attention, I'm going to raise my hand calmly, and it means stop, even if you're in the middle of your sentence, and look at me. And I'm going to count even 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. By the time I reach 1, I expect everyone to stop talking, looking at me, because I need to announce something. And when I see everyone quiet, I'm going to put down my hand and I'm going to say, okay, guys, good. Thank you for the discussion. Now, please go back to your chair. I didn't shout, I didn't scream, I just calmly raised my hand. Now, here's the important thing from Harry Wong. Do not just teach them procedures, rehearse them with the students. Rehearse them over and over until the procedure becomes a routine. And that's the key, to make the procedures routine. Okay, so let's rehearse it. Get a partner. You can stay wherever you want inside the classroom. Here's the question. The first 30 seconds, one will answer and share his answer to the other. And after 30 seconds, the other partner will share his answer to the other person. And then at the end of that, I will give the signal for you to stop talking and I need to make an announcement. And then you tell them, go, get a partner and start discussing. And then after 1 minute, you go to the middle of the room and calmly raise your hand. Now, it's just a procedure. You see Joanna and Geraldine not stopping kahit nakaganon ka na. Don't get mad. Don't get angry. Don't shout. It's just a procedure. So you just have to say, Joanna, Geraldine, what's the procedure, please? They will stop talking. Thank you. And then you put your hand down. Let's try it again. Here's another question. Get another partner. You rehearse it until it becomes routine. That's the magic of procedures and routine. And that is managing. That's not disciplining. No need to get angry. No need to get upset. You just have to remind them, what's the procedure, please? And let them do it until it becomes routine. And I tell you, if you do this in the beginning of the school year, until everything becomes routinary, you will find yourself just getting the students to do what you want them to do without ever having to resort to shouting, screaming, and yelling. And you get the students engaged, doing what they are supposed to be doing because they are what you expect them to do. But an ineffective teacher will have to contend with a disruptive class. There is such a thing as a disruptive student. Students who exhibit behaviors that interfere with a learning environment. They talk out of turns. They don't follow instructions. Anong gagawin natin sa mga ganyang klaseng estudyante? We need to have procedures that they will do what you want them to do routinarily, as a routine. And then they know the consequences. We will get into strategies in this next 4 days on how to deal precisely with disruptive students. But there are also withdrawn students, right? Yung mga ayaw mag-recite. Or even worse, tutulugan ka. And many times, ang problema natin, papasok ang estudyante, bakit laging antok na antok? Bakit nga naman hindi antok na antok yan? Hanggang 2:00 tinapos yung episode 11, 12, 13 ng Queen of Tears. At saka kasi walang supervision sa bahay. Kasi walang disiplina. Kasi walang self-control. Hindi. Kasi kulang siguro rin tayo sa expectations kung ano ang expected natin nilang gagawin. That we expect them to participate, that we expect them to. That's classroom management. We have to think of how to engage even students who seem not to be connected. That's classroom management. That is not disciplining. By putting in procedures, we will get into more of those strategies. But yeah, admittedly, lalo ngayong mga araw ngayon, marami ring mga challenging students, no? Students with complex, persistent, or even escalating behavior issues. But we nip it in the bud by making sure we go back to Harry Wong, The First Days of School, the title of his book. They learn what we expect them to do. They learn the procedures, they become routine, we manage the class. If we do that, we will not even need to discipline. So, here are the 4 types of classroom climate. Gusto ko habang dinidescribe ko itong 4 climates or kinds of classrooms, because you are finishing a school year or you have finished a school year already, isipin ninyo, anong klaseng classroom meron ako? Here's the first type of classroom. Low control, low support. Low control, low support. The teacher has low control of the students. Why? Kasi hindi niya alam. Natatakot siya. Naku, baka pagpagalitan ko tong mga estudyante, they will not like me anymore. Pag sumigaw ako, baka magalit lang, mag-react sila in a negative way. Low control. Kanina pang nagdadaldalan yung 2 estudyante doon. Baka pagtawagin ko yung attention nila, magalit lang sa akin. Bahala kayo. Never mind. Natutulog yung batang yun. Naku, baka pagisingin ko, magalit siya. Problema pa. Bahala ka dyan. Low control. Why? Because the teacher just doesn't know how to go about it or is afraid to assert his authority or her authority. And low support. The students do not like that kind of teacher. Kasi ito yung mga estudyante, ang sinasabi nila, hindi ko nga maintindihan yung klase kasi hindi ko madinig si ma'am, ang ingay ng classmates ko. Hindi ko nga maintindihan kasi inaantok ako lagi, nakakatulog ako, hindi naman ako ginigising. Hindi naman ako pinagsasabihan. Low support because they also don't like that teacher. Students are saying, it's so boring. Why do we even have to take this subject? The teacher cannot manage the class, cannot discipline my classmates. Low support. They don't like that kind of classroom. You will produce a bored climate. There are classrooms that are like that. Teachers do not know how to control, and the students do not like the teacher. But here's another kind of classroom. Low control, high support. Binanggit na natin to kanina. Ito yung mga teacher na low control. You want to eat? Go ahead. You want to sleep? Go ahead. Just make sure pag may teacher na dadaan sa corridor, hindi pwedeng ganyan, gigisingin kita. You want to transfer seats? Why low control? Because they are trying very hard to be liked. Alam niyo yon, yung may teachers na parang tumatakbo sa popularity contest, trying too hard to be liked by the students. High support naman. Uy, okay to si Mama. We can do anything we want. Uy, okay to si Sarah. Chill, cool, parang barkada lang. You know, not all students are the same. There are some who are very mature and they can see through the teacher. The teacher who is trying to be popular, the teacher who is trying so hard to be liked. Some students can read through the teacher and they will say, frustrating naman tong class na to. May favoritism. The teacher is more concerned about being liked. That's a kind of climate that you produce, a frustrating climate. Here's a third kind of classroom. High control, low support. High control now. Stop talking. Keep quiet. Eyes here on the board. Look here. Sit up straight. Inhale. Exhale. High control, terror teacher. Yung para bang pati yung paghinga kailangan. Why are you laughing? Get out. High control. Low support. The students are afraid of the teacher. Pero alam mo, minsan, some teachers, ang isip nila, effective. Mr. Dentoy, effective. Ang classroom tahimik. Parang sementeryo. Walang gustong mag-recite. Walang gustong gumawa ng kahit anong ingay kasi biglang pagagalitan. Palalabasin. Sisigawan. Terror teacher. Low support. They don't like that kind of teacher. In fact, the kind of classroom you're going to produce is a scared classroom, a terrorized classroom, or even worse, and this is happening in some places, a revengeful classroom. Revengeful, naghahantay ng pagkakataon ang mga kabataan to get back at the teacher. Kaya minsan, meron kang school-wide assembly, pag nabanggit yung pangalan ng teacher, yung mga estudyante parang may hiyawan, may parang pinagtatawanan, or not because they like the teacher, but they precisely want to embarrass the teacher. They want to get back at the teacher. So that's the kind of climate you produce with that kind of classroom management or classroom discipline. A terror teacher will produce a scared, terrified, terrorized, revengeful classroom. What we want to produce is this: high control, high support. High control. The students will want to study and study hard and get good grades because the teacher motivated them, because the teacher pushes them. High control. Do you want them to come on time? They will come on time, punctually, inside the classroom. They follow what you tell them to do. High support, because they know that you know what you're doing. They know that you are a kind, caring, welcoming teacher. They know that you are a professional teacher. One of the most important strategies to become a high control teacher is by modeling, showing by our example. Turuan mo sila ng punctuality, to come inside the classroom on time by being punctual every single day. that you come to class prepared. That is how you will teach them professionalism with your example. Teach them self-control by showing them that you yourself know how to control your temper, your tongue, you will never resort to shouting, screaming, and yelling. And high support, they like that kind of teacher who models all these good qualities. And that's what you're going to produce, a successful class. A successful classroom where students are motivated to do well. Not because they're afraid of you, because you've terrorized them. Not just because you're offering them rewards, but because you have high control. They have high support and you have high control. They will do whatever you want them to do because you know how to manage the class, not just discipline the class. Okay. Now, there are challenging behaviors, academic struggles. Let's face it, hindi lahat ng estudyante natin pare-pareho ang academic levels, right? Some need more time to understand a lesson. Some have a hard time reading. They can perform, they can act, they can produce dioramas, but they are slow in reading. That's just how it is. Iba-iba ang learning styles ng mga kabataan. So, many times, when they have a hard time understanding the lesson, these are the ones who cause trouble. They are struggling academically. Or they have social, emotional needs. Bakit nga hindi matutulog yung bata sa klase mo? Kagabi, hindi yan nakatulog. Hanggang alas 3, nag-aaway ang kanyang nanay at tatay. At inabando na sila ng kanyang tatay. May problema. And then, you see the person sleeping inside your classroom and you just tell the person, get out. Go to the principal's office. Teka muna. May pangangailangan at may problema yung bata. Or even worse, you have the kid is going through a trauma or a serious adversity, experiencing abuse, neglect, instability. All these can have a bearing on the kind of behavior that the students show. Let's take a look at some common classroom dynamics in elementary and high school classrooms. Sa elementary, may makikita tayong teacher-centered dynamics, right? Especially sa mga lower grades, elementary, the teacher typically takes on a central role in the directing activities, managing behavior, and delivering instruction. And students look to the teacher for guidance and structure. That's the dynamics. We expect the teacher to be the one determining kung ano ang gagawin natin ngayon. Now we do this, But here's another kind of dynamics, structured routines. Ito yung procedures and routines. Elementary classrooms often would have structured daily routines. Di ba? You start first with physical activities. You even do some song and dance to keep them alive and to get them excited about the day. And then you give them clear expectations for moving from one activity to another. And the students feel secure. And it's so well structured. There are no surprises. They know exactly what is expected of them every step of the way. Here's another kind of dynamics, interactive and hands-on learning. Especially among the kids, it's very important that we make them do, perform, act more than just listening. Di ba? That's how it is with elementary. Hindi pwedeng bigyan mo sila ng 30 minutes solid lecture. As they grow older, they become more and more ready for longer and longer lectures where they just sit down and listen and try to understand. They can ask questions at any time, which I remember I should have announced earlier on. At any time in our session, you have a question, please feel free to type in the chat box or send to me as a private message, and we will see in the last, I have 8 minutes left before we end our session today, because the last 10 minutes I will be asking you to work on your certificate for the day. So, there, today and for the rest of the 4 days of these sessions, at any given time, you need to ask a question. Feel free to type it in the chat box. If we have time to answer it today, we will. If not, then we will leave it for tomorrow or in the next session. So, elementary teachers often incorporate interactive and hands-on learning in order to engage the young learners. That's very important. And teachers have to think of making sure there are varied activities in a period. In the case of elementary, there's emphasis on social skills. Get a partner, work in a group, work in a team, choose the people you want to discuss with, etc. Okay. Varied learning styles, because students learn in different ways. It's just how it is. Some learn more by listening, yeah, but more actually learn by doing, by performing, by producing, by creating, playing with manipulatives, etc. So we know that that's how it is. Students learn in different ways, that are different learning styles. We look into how we can make sure that the auditory students are not just subjected to one type of lecture or one type rather of activity. And those who are physical, kinesthetic, have a chance of still proving, showing, demonstrating that they understood the lesson other than simply by writing or by, how do you call this, submitting a written output. In high school classrooms, on the other hand, we have to be more student-centered in our dynamics and the way we do activities, because one is they are more capable. They have more possibility, for example, of being able to demonstrate that they have learned the lesson. That's why I like very much the UBD, Understanding by Design, where you make them do performance tasks, because it's not just by pen and paper that students are able to show na naintindihan talaga nila yung essential learning, na naintindihan nila talaga yung gusto mong ituro sa kanila, that they're given all sorts of ways to be able to show, demonstrate that they understood the lesson. Moreover, students in the higher levels can have more autonomy. You can even make them choose how they will show or prove to you that they understood the lesson, which in the end is what learning is all about, that they actually learn. In the case of high school, sometimes this is the dynamics. We focus on the subject, a specific subject. That becomes like the determining factor for what you do inside the classroom. But yes, we expect increased complexity. We cannot be teaching high school something that, or in a way that we teach it to elementary kids, for example. It's very important that in high school, we begin to really prepare them for real life work. Think about it. Sa totoong buhay, nobody works alone. We work with a faculty. We work with a team. We work with a unit, with a department, it's always working with other people. And therefore, in high school, that has got to be the dynamics. We make them learn how to work with different kinds of people, with different personalities, with different backgrounds, with different mindsets. And then many times with the goal of we are preparing them already for a chosen field, a chosen course, or a chosen profession, really, that they will be um, setting their eyes on, and that is what will make them choose the kind of course they will have for college. Okay, it is now 4:18. In tomorrow's session, while we will be talking about another topic, I will make sure that we go more deeply into the procedures and routines that I shared with you earlier. Before I end, I just want to, because we have a question here about talking about permissive, authoritarian, authoritative. Let me just end with this 5 kasinungalingan tungkol sa pagtuturo. Here's the first one. First wrong idea about management and discipline. Do not smile until Christmas. Yan. I heard a senior teacher advising a new teacher, alam mo, wag kang ngingiti. Kasi pag ngumiti ka, yung mga estudyante will try to see how far they can go with you. That's not true. That's a lie. There's no fruit in being a terror teacher. In fact, I will be sharing it with you, I think, in one of the sessions. Smile. The students should feel welcome in our classroom, should see that our classroom is a kind and caring and welcoming classroom. And many times the best way of being able to show that is through a smile. Here's another myth about classroom management. Be big and tough. Dapat katatakutan ka ng mga estudyante. That's being authoritarian. That's being a terror teacher. Alam mo, Mr. Tontoy, wala akong problema sana with classroom discipline. If only I am big and tough. That's not true. It's not true. It's a myth. And we should not resort to terrorizing, scaring, making the students afraid. Mr. Tontoy, wala akong problema with classroom discipline if only I have the latest gadgets. Yan. Some teachers will say this. Sana kung meron lang akong sariling video projector, laptop. Don't get me wrong. If your school can afford these things, fantastic. Good job. Congratulations. But that is not what will solve discipline inside the classroom. I know some schools where you have the latest UHD LED installed in every classroom. There is a laptop computer in every classroom, but there's bullying. There's problem of bullying. So it's not the latest gadgets that will solve your problem of discipline, of behavior. As I said, if you can afford, very good, but that is not what will make sure there is behavior, there is good behavior. Number 4, Mr. Antoy, wala sana akong problema if only all my students are from the middle class. Kasi ang problema yung mga napakayayaman na mga pamilya or yung mga napakahirap naman na parang walang motivation. Again, that is not true. It's not true. I've had students from very rich families and I've had students who would sa UANP, meron akong estudyante kumakain dun sa karinderya ng NEDA where the tricycle jeepney drivers also eat kasi yun lang ang kaya nila. But it's not the economic background. If the teacher knows how to manage the class, learning can happen. If the teacher knows how to motivate the students, learning can happen. Here's the 5th And I address myself especially to young, new teachers because it's a myth that is common among beginning teachers. Miss Sedantoy, wala akong problema with discipline. I will be friends with my students. You know, parang barkada. We will talk the same language. We will even inuman pag weekend. Or we will go McDo, kain kami. That's a myth and that is wrong. Teachers, you are not meant to be friends with your students. You are meant to be role models. That's what they need. That's what they are looking for. They know they don't need any more friends. Tingnan mo, social media nila, ang dami na nilang friends. What we have to be is someone they will say, paglaki ko gusto ko kagaya ni ma'am, kagaya ni sir, respetado, professional. And that is how we will be able to manage the class, not just disciplining, not terrorizing, not trying. Yung friends na to, some young beginning teachers fall into that trap thinking that they are there to be liked by the students. Okay, well, I have reached the end of the time for today. I'm going to post now in the chat box. Please, okay, please click on the link. Please click on the link in the chat box. And I'm going to wait for some of you to answer it. And once you click on submit, check your inbox if the certificate is automatically generated. Okay. Those who may be attending as a group, you might not be able to access this. You can ask your coordinator for the link by email, and then she or he can share it with you so that you can claim your certificate within the day. Okay? I hope I will not receive an email tomorrow asking for the certificate. Please do it today. Click on the link and then fill up the form. When you click submit, you should receive your certificate for today's session in your email. Has anybody received the certificate in your inbox? Kindly please check and let us know by typing in the chat box, I got my certificate, before we close the Zoom room. I want to make sure the link is working. Thank you, Francis. Francis Jerome Tyson said he got his certificate. Joyce Ann, thank you, got the certificate. Jomar already did. Brian, Megs, Joanne, thank you, fantastic. That means the link is working. I know a number of you are joining us from a group or a classroom or a lecture hall. So the other participants might not be able to click on the link now. Please ask one coordinator to send an email to catalystpds@gmail.com to ask for the link and then to share with you. By the way, Binagrialin Cutter CDC, you may have misspelled your email. Nag-bounce na. See, I can see kung mag-bounce. Do not make a mistake in your spelling so that you receive your certificate. If you make a mistake in the spelling of your email address, magba-bounce. Hindi nyo ma-receive yung certificate. Okay? Let me first stop the recording and then